Oh boy, the Pikamee nonsense troubling trans thing has been a hot, fiery topic to many people, honestly. This is a whole damn thing that's been like the culmination of people for years. Not just the Pikamee situation, but just people in general, honestly. I'm gonna give you the full force of what I'm thinking of everything, honestly. From my perspective, my POV, and just how I think about everything is in general, honestly. This might be a video you hate. This might be a video that you might want to cancel me for, or just might not necessarily like what I have to say. I understand that completely, but to be perfectly honest, it's about time it needs to be said. Like, a lot of people get on Long Beach Scruffy's neck a lot of the time for saying a lot of wild shit, especially when it comes to this region of the internet. But it needs to be said though, nonetheless. Let me start off with saying the biggest thing that I need to get through everybody's minds before we actually continue on with this crazy ass discussion, because it is indeed crazy, because canceling, and I ain't got time for that. But anyway, point is, when it comes down to things, I have to just straight up tell you, no matter what you are, no matter who you is, no matter what you do, no matter what you want to be in your own personal lives, that is something that I can understand where, you are, honestly. I care for the individual, right? That's really all I really care for, honestly. When it comes to like communities and people, I only care for my own community, right? The community that we have here. This is the be all of all the communities, honestly. This is the be all end all of all communities, okay? Even the anime community, even the Danganronpa community, even though I'm not really part of that community either, but like, still, nonetheless, as much as I might enjoy those communities, I enjoy those for the people, the individual people, I should say, that make that part of the community special for me, okay? Mainly for me, it's the NSFW creators of the Danganronpa community. That's really what I like to see. Some people in the anime community are nice. I actually do like those people too. And there's some individuals I met and talked to that I 100% enjoy. There's no way I don't ever could say I wouldn't enjoy them. I really do. And that's because I care about the individual, okay? I care about the individual when it comes to that in a community. That being said, I'm going to tell you straight up, I am not necessarily an ally. I'm not necessarily a person that is, fighting desperately for one thing or another like that, outside of my own personal gains, outside of someone else's personal gains, if I view them in the right viewpoint, honestly. Like, if you need help, I'm gonna be hopefully willing to be helping you in whatever you need, alright? That's personally how I feel. I am an ally to an individual. I am not an ally to people, okay? I know that sounds weird, but it is what it is, right? So when it comes to like trans individual or people, I am only an ally to the individual of that aspect, okay? And this is how I view things, right? If you do not force me to be something that I don't want to be, or you don't necessarily try to, get on my neck about something, about what you are or who you are or anything like that, and try to attack the things that I like and enjoy, or me, then we won't have a problem. If you don't do any of those things, we won't have a problem. I'll care for you like you're just any other person, right? That's basically what I would care for. But the moment you start trying to force things onto me, or you try to go after me and try to cancel me because of something of the sort, or anything else that I stated before, then that's when we're going to have a problem. That's when exactly we're going to throw hands and start boxing, honestly. So, when it comes down to things, I am not personally an ally of the trans community. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I say that proudly. I am an ally of the individual people that poses no ill will towards me, and I have no ill will towards them, alright? I have people who have been on this channel before that is trans, and I have absolutely no problem with them personally, because they're decent people. They haven't done anything bad and mean to me. I stand for them as individuals. I do not stand for people of a whole ass community that I personally am not a part of and really don't care for, honestly, just because of their internet representation, you know? And the crazy thing is, a lot of people in real life, that's in reality, a lot of trans people, a lot of gay people, they don't even like the stuff that happens online because they know they're being retarded. They know. So it's kind of like, what the hell is actually going on here, obviously? And this whole Pikamee thing, this has been things that this probably has been like locked up in a lot of people's minds and hearts for a long ass time. To say a lot of mean ass things, to be transphobic to a lot of people that they've been wanting to do for like a long fat ass time. This has been a long time coming. Let's be perfectly honest here. It's just the fact that it's like this Pikamee thing, this is just icing on the cake at this point. This has been a thing for years. Literally, I would say personally it's probably because of how many different things that we have to change because of, you know, that side of the internet too. Mainly because it's like, you know, there's certain things that wasn't, you know, necessarily acceptable now, but was back then. And yeah, some of those things need to be changed too, because it is kind of cringy, let's be honest. But some of the stuff doesn't necessarily make sense. And the things that people can get away with because they decide to change their gender or change their identity and stuff like that, it is a bit ridiculous. The fact that we have to announce that we changed ourselves in this sort of way or that sort of way or this sort of way constantly every single day is very annoying, and it really shouldn't even be a thing, honestly. It really shouldn't. I'll be perfectly honest. It should be something that we handle in our private time and our private matters, but Twitter is such an open-ended place that you could put your social security out there and people would just do that for just because. I don't know why they would just do that just because though, because that's how Twitter is and that's how Twitter people can be. This shouldn't be something that you have to be opening up like a grand statement, yet people use this to be popular or use it to just, you know, try to create something for themselves, like, you know, Elle did with how she usually pronounced herself as a gamer with G-A-Y and then the rest of it like regular gamer, you know. And then you possibly have like, you know, who's that popular person that like people be trolling all the time? He's like really it ain't Shane Dawson. It ain't Shane Dawson. It's somebody else. I can't remember the name. I know exactly what they look like. I just can't remember the name. But they tried to use it before and, you know, use their own gender role and how they feel with their sexuality and all this type of stuff as their own popularity gimmick. I can say this, and I'm not even part of any type of community of that aspect, right? I can say this to be sure of it. Being gay or trans or whatever, honestly, that shouldn't even be like a part of your gimmick to the point where it's like that's your personality, right? Like it never really worked well as, I mean, it does work well because it's freaking popular, but like it shouldn't be a part of your personality. Being gay or being trans isn't a personality trait. It is a life decision that you decide to make, whether you think it's good or bad or not. It is a life decision that you make, honestly. It is what it is, honestly. That's basically what it is. And, you know, that's not a personality trait. A personality trait or like a thing a part of your personality is like, oh, he's actually charismatic, or he actually likes to be a nature person, or he actually likes to just be an introverted person, or something like that. That's part of your personality. Being your gender and you're changing, your sexuality changes, that's not a personality trait. That's just a life decision that you decided to do for yourself. I'll be perfectly honest. Just like that doesn't make sense. There's like a lot of things that doesn't necessarily make sense with, you know, the alphabet gang community, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because if I'm being really honest with you, why is the F word like censored and all that type of stuff too? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Y'all say N-word on a daily basis, but we can't say that one. That should be a free reign word to everybody to use. To be perfectly honest, as I said before, no one should really be using either of those words if we're being honest. But considering that people are going to constantly keep using the N-word, you might as well say the other one and then don't get canceled off of it. At this point, it is what it is at this point. I'm not necessarily going to lie. But when it comes down to things, there's a lot of things, honestly, that the trans community, much less the alphabet gang community as a whole, just get wrong honestly. And it's a lot of times, especially like if you say something and then they don't necessarily agree with them, they'll come in drones and just whoop your ass over one little statement that you made. How do I know? They did that to me. I absolutely know that. That shit sucked. And I couldn't be on Twitter for like 3 days. So that shit sucked. I know. I was one of those people that got hit. So that's not like a good thing to deal with. And I'm not saying that it's like everybody, right? It's not everybody. There is very good people within those communities. There's very chill people overall. There's not necessarily like a whole horde of people that's like going to whoop your ass. Some of those people are nice people. There's a good majority of them that sucked ass, but like there's a good majority of them too that doesn't, and they're chill, they're nice, they're okay. It's not necessarily the end of the world when it comes to certain parts of those people. Again, the individuals that I stand for, that I'm okay with. Hell, if it wasn't for the, if it wasn't, and some of those activists too, really are fine too. They're not necessarily the most horrible people on the planet either. It's just a good chunk of them do be, especially like underage kids that be jumping into things that they really shouldn't be and they don't know dick about, or they try to make decisions on their own that they don't know anything about. And it just like, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, honestly. But there is decent people went into it, there is some decent people. Like, hopefully I don't get this wrong, but I see this in their Twitter bio, or at least their name. So I'm going to assume, if not, please correct me later. But, and I'm not even going to say their name, I'm just going to say the history. But basically, if it wasn't for a transgender person, I wouldn't even be able to meet Alice, honestly, because they added like a lot of people who, I was wondering where I could talk to some other VTubers and stuff. And then Alice's name popped up. And if it wasn't for that person, I wouldn't even be able to meet Alice and know who she is and how great everybody else is around her. So again, you have people that is out there that is trans or activists, but are not necessarily the worst type of person though. It does show that a good majority is online, but not everybody's in the same damn boat. So the fact that people on this Pikamee situation attacks everyone full force, no thinking, it is a bit ridiculous. It is honestly a bit ridiculous. Not everybody deserves an ass whooping, okay? Some people need to be spared an ass whooping. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. Going after every trans person you see just because, that's not how that works. That's absolutely not how that works. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. A lot of things that the Alphabet Gang has done in recent memory has not been great. Like taking kids to drag shows, or like taking kids to like places where it's basically a stripper bar or whatever, but it's just full of guys, or basically girls or lesbians and gay people that is around children doing all those sorts of things. That shit ain't right. I'll be very honest with you. That shit's not right. I mean, like, if you wouldn't take a child to a stripper or like a strip club or something like that, you shouldn't take them to something like that either. Like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's basically practically the same damn boat. It basically kind of is. But what I'm trying to say, basically, when it comes to all this, when it comes to Pikamee entirely, is that I'm certain Pikamee wouldn't want, the hatred that's going on for trans people and just activists and stuff like this. She probably wouldn't want this to go on like this, She probably wouldn't want this to be like a whole thing, war basically, going on to just attack people, just to attack people, It's like people use like Pikamee's name, identity, voice, and all this type of stuff, and the situation around her as leverage or an excuse to kind of go after regular run-of-the-mill people. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. Don't get me wrong, some of those activists, some of those people are assholes. They did cause Pikamee a part of Pikamee's problem, honestly. Now, I did see reports where people were saying that Pikamee was going to graduate anyway, and that she was deciding that at some point, and I believe that, I do. But you do not tell me that the Hogwarts Legacy nonsense wasn't a part of the problem, because it absolutely was. There ain't no way you can say, Oh, it wasn't part of the problem. Bitch, yes it was. There ain't no damn way. Because if that was the case, why did Silvervale go through the nonsense that she went through? Why did so many other streamers go through the nonsense that they've been through? You cannot sit here and tell me that had nothing to do with Pikamee. That absolutely had something to do with it. It just expedited the process of what's going on with her graduation, honestly. Even if she did decide it long time ago that she didn't want to keep going like this, you know? It's basically that's basically what's going on, like 100%. What I'm trying to say in all this in this video is I'm not trying to like make a statement to like protect the people that's, you know, going after trans people and activists and whatever when it comes to the Pikamee situation. I'm not saying that the trans people and the trans activists are the best type of people online. I'm absolutely not saying that. But what I'm saying is that you gotta think about on an individual level, not everybody's on the same boat though, right? Just because they're associated with that community, just because they're a part of that community, does not necessarily mean that that's basically, you know, how that kind of is, you know, with everybody. Not everybody is on the same damn boat, honestly. That's kind of like saying that all black people are just N-words from the hood and they just don't know anything when it comes to just educational means of getting out of the damn hood, you know? That's absolutely not the case. And if that was, I'll beat your ass. Anyway, as I said before, I don't care about the trans community as a whole. I don't care about the alphabet community as a whole. I just care about the individual and who they are to me. That's basically all I care for. That's really what it comes down to. Just caring about the individual and not necessarily, you know, everybody else as a whole, you know? Because everybody else as a whole is going to be pretty bad, you know? It's going to be having your bad moments into it, your good moments into it, but still nonetheless it's going to have that 50-50 that's within to it. That split is going to be there. There is also like a lot of things that they have done over the years, the alphabet community has done over the years, and has just straight up admitted like a lot of atrocities over the years and just get by because of their gender and all this type of stuff. A lot of stuff they really shouldn't got away with, I'm gonna be very honest with you. But not everybody's bad, right? Not everybody's bad. And I'm saying this as a person that has a Christianity belief. Someone that is, you know, believing in certain things. And obviously I do have my certain small beliefs about certain things and how people should operate and how things should be carried out. But at the same time, as my person self, even though my person self really doesn't matter, but my person self, to be perfectly honest, if you're not necessarily like, I guess, being like an absolute asshole to other people, or you're trying not to be, or anything like that, and you're just a decent human being, it doesn't pay hard to be a decent person. It doesn't pay anything to be good or anything like that, you know? It doesn't take a lot for someone to just say something nice or be, you know, a decent person, you know? But we get too much of that nonsense in this world, and then everything kind of goes to shit, honestly. But again, the whole thing with Pikamee 100% is still very much uncalled for, because I'm gonna be very honest with you. A lot of times when like the trans community is in some help or in some need, I'm not gonna necessarily lie, there's a good bit of times, not every time, but a good bit of times where they cause that problem themselves. So if a VTuber would have come through and they were like a trans VTuber and they were getting harassed, and they might not have anything to do with the Pikamee situation, would a lot of people now go and help that person? Probably not. Mainly because of this whole horrible situation with Pikamee. Maybe this is the whole reason why, honestly. Like, it's crazy how sometimes people can, you know, want support and want some attention from other people, yet they do bad things and then think they're going to get away with it and think that things are going to be fine. Well, you know, absolutely that's not, you know, the case, and it's just super duper weird, you know? So it's not like, it's like, what are you expecting? Like, you went out, said some shit, and then think you're gonna get away with it? That's not how that works, sir. That's not how it works. So, you know, it's just trash, honestly. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, the way I've been raised and the way I've been thinking in my beliefs and everything, honestly, I won't lie to you, there is things I do believe in. There is things I do think the world has done very much wrong, honestly. And there's a lot of things I can honestly put into perspective when it comes to that, but I'm not going to do it for this video because I feel like I'm going to get canceled even more than I already probably have. But I do want to say, I'm not necessarily going to force this onto you. I'm not necessarily going to go ahead and try to force what I believe onto anyone else, honestly. If I have an opportunity to bring it up, absolutely, I'll bring it up and talk about it a little bit, because that's fine. You should be able to open up and talk about certain things, right? That's just how it is. But when it comes down to things like in this situation and how you view trans people, or should you be that way, or anything of the sort, or even if you are like a part of the alphabet gang, how should you conduct yourself and all this type of stuff, I'm not gonna tell you anything that you already know. You should have common sense. You should already be able to do what you need to do in your own mind, right? I'm not gonna sit here and try to babysit people into what they want to believe and all this type of stuff, right? There has been a lot of complaints on, the trans and alphabet community. A lot. There's a lot of them that is really accurate, and no one seems to really be taking into consideration. And if you do, you're homophobic or you're transphobic, which, to be perfectly honest, those are just words, things that people want to label you as, honestly. And it's very annoying, and it's very, very annoying. But the sad thing is, it doesn't even have to be that way. The only reason why they do that is because when someone doesn't agree with you, they want to label you as that, even though you full blown well know that you might be okay with those type of people. You might be all right being around some of those people. You might even call some of those people your friends, and that's fine. It's just crazy how, I guess, the world try to take something for granted and then try to abuse it like crazy too, and then make it everybody else's problem if they don't necessarily believe in the right things that they want them to believe in. And it's crazy, right? So it's just honestly really annoying. I guess I'll just try to end this because this video is getting really long, and honestly this topic could be talked about like for hours on end, honestly. But I'll be very honest with you. As I said before in the beginning, I care for individuals. I care for the individual and not necessarily a community of people and how that is, right? The only community I care for and people really is my community and myself. And that's really how it is, honestly. As I said before, you won't find an ally here. You're going to find someone that speaks the truth, but you ain't going to find someone that's going to be an ally here, right? You're just not. I like people that are individuals, right? Because I can focus time on an individual. I can actually, speak to them, and then maybe we can make sense of the sort of situation. I like individuals, and they're easier to deal with too, instead of just a horde of people, The only horde of people I want to deal with is my own community when we start growing. That's it. But other than that I don't really care for it, honestly. I really don't. It's just a whole lot of nonsense that could get easily misinterpreted for a good chunk of reasons. And that's why you got misinformation articles about Pikamee and how certain things, I don't even know. I haven't really read it, I'll be honest, but I know it's there. I do know that. So when it comes down to things, you should just care for, I guess, the individuals that exist, and not so much to vote for everyone. Because I'll be very honest with you, I keep seeing like a lot of people was like, oh, my community is safe for trans people, or safe for like allies and all that type of stuff when it comes to the LGBT community and all this type of stuff. This community is not safe for that. We are only safe for the individuals, alright? That's literally what this community is. That's what it should really, all it should be, honestly. If you're trying to take factions of different sides, I do not approve of that, and that's something I am not responsible for. I do not care for. I don't care, like I said, because this community should only care for the individual. We should just care for the people, really. The personality of who you are. That's it. We don't necessarily care if you're trans. We don't care if you're gay or lesbian. We don't necessarily care if you're a guy, naturally born, or a female, naturally born. We don't care if you're white, black, Asian, somehow look like Homer Simpson's built ass. We don't care, because we care about the individual and who you are. That's literally it, and how you is with your personality and just you as that individual. Your gender does not matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anybody else in this community as well as your race and any other thing that comes through. Because I honestly I said too, these wars on like race and gender and all this type of stuff too. I hate to get political, but it's so damn dumb. Or like, I'm a left-wing person, I'm a right-wing person, I got a gun person, I'm a gun person, I'm gonna just blast both of the wings off and then see what you got afterwards. Because it does not matter. It really don't, honestly. People keep trying to separate themselves in different types of categories and different type of things to the point it gets ridiculous, and then people wonder why we can't get along. Maybe stop separating people in different categories and just see them for who they are as an individual. You know, you can say you're trans or you can say you're gay and lesbian all day. I don't give a damn about none of that. I'll bitch slap the hell out you. I don't care. I want to know what you can actually do. What do you bring to the table that's not have to anything to do with your sexuality or your gender or your race or anything like that? I want to know what you are. Who are you outside of all the other stupid ass labels society has for us? What is you? What are you? Who is you meant to be? That's literally what I care for. You know? That's literally what I care for. Honestly, that's literally it. So, as I said before, again, I keep repeating myself, but individuals matter. People in good bits of like communities and things like that really don't. Okay? If you're a part of those and you like being around those, that's fine. But you gotta remember, again, it's more about individuals than it is about a group of people. People are stupid. People are retarded. But the individual might not be. And that's something that you just gotta remember. So, yeah, that's basically my entire take. It feels like this is less about the Pikamee situation, just more about things I just wanted to say in general. But honestly, it feels like it needed to be said, especially with everybody kind of airing out how they actually feel and stuff too. So I feel like this is like a thing too. So as I said before, you know, I do have my beliefs. There's things I do believe in, and there's things a part of that I absolutely think is right. But I'm not gonna force anything like that on you or anything of the sort. I will talk it up if it needs to be talked up, but you know, again, people shouldn't necessarily try to force anything on anybody, and that's like the biggest thing. And obviously you shouldn't just care about someone's gender and their appearance. You should care about the soul that's inside them, the individual that they are, and that's really all that matters, honestly. We can talk about this for hours, but that's basically where I want to leave it, honestly. So if you think I'm being a transphobic person or trying to be a homophobic person or a racist or whatever the hell because I said all the stuff I said, that's fine. Believe what you want to believe, but I know what I believe in. I know what I am personally, you know? At least I feel comfortable to be what I personally am. I hate myself, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do. But at least I'm comfortable in what I am. At least I know what I am exactly. I bet majority of the people that possibly isn't subscribed to this channel or don't even know who I am, possibly don't even feel comfortable being themselves, you know? They probably don't even have the answer to who they are. I have an idea of who I am. In fact, I'm practically living my purpose by living in this video, by making this video, by honestly having this video for you to watch right now. I at least know my purpose. What are you here for? That isn't about your outside appearance. What is the inner you? What is the inner spirit of you? What is that? What exactly is that? Because you probably couldn't even tell me. And that's literally how that is. I'm probably getting so deep right now. I have left the freaking atmosphere of Earth, honestly, at this point. I'm in a different zone at this point. What are you exactly? If you can't even figure that out, then change it. You can change. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can change your gender, you can change your identity, your sexuality as much as you want. If you can't tell me or you can't figure out the answer of who you are in your own inner self, it doesn't matter how many times you change your identity and gender and all this type of stuff, you're still gonna feel that emptiness, and you're still really won't be super acceptive of yourself. You might be accepted by other people, but they'll tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. What are you? Who are you? So you're an individual. You should definitely matter to especially yourself. That's just how it is. That's just literally how it is. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. Honestly, I think that's good enough. I think I ain't gonna lie. I know some of y'all don't believe, but I feel like the spirit was talking to me at that last part. I ain't gonna hold you. But yeah, that's basically all I really want to say for this one. Again, cancel me, don't cancel me. I don't really care. It feel like it need to be said. But yeah, that's basically how I feel about all of this type of stuff, whether it's Pikamee or just the transgender thing in general, or just the LGBT thing in general. That's just personally how I feel. So hopefully you did enjoy this one, or at least learn something, or try to figure something out about yourself if you're a person, going through this. Because I ain't gonna lie, I feel like a lot of people that tries to change their gender and stuff, they need to just talk it out with somebody first before deciding to do that. Because I feel like a lot of people try to change, and then they think that that's gonna save them from a situation or change how people perceive them. It might, but at the same time, you're just putting on a different layer of paint. That's literally what this is. At least that's to me. When in all honesty, you should be trying to figure out who you really are, and all that type of stuff. The individual of you, the inner spirit of you. But that's basically all I want to say with this one. I feel like I gave y'all a sermon, honestly. I ain't gonna hold you. But that's basically all I'm gonna say. All the stuttering nonsense. But hopefully you did understand where I was trying to come from and enjoy, I guess, honestly, if you're just watching for the entertainment value. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon's payable as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.